Hi, guys. Welcome to Bible Breakdown. We're doing Psalms chapter 48. This psalm is titled A Song, a Psalm of the Sons of Korah. If I had to say one thing about this chapter, I feel like this is like showing God's track record. This is showing how God moves. This is showing how God works, what he can do for his people. So essentially, the main idea behind this whole chapter is how God protected Jerusalem from literally being destroyed, and then the people like preserving the land to tell generations about what God has done. So for verses 1 to 3, I wrote that it starts out by giving God the praise and respect that he deserves, and then it's shining light on the greatness of Mount Zion in Jerusalem and how God was the protector of the protection, which is a citadel. I had to look up what a citadel was because I truly wasn't sure. And it says that it is designed to provide protection during battle. So, just to put that into perspective, okay, the thing that's supposed to provide you protection during battle, God is protecting the protection. Like, yeah, I don't know. Just like reading that kind of, it didn't blow my mind, but it was just like, wow, God is protecting the protection. Like, wow. But I digress. In the next couple verses, we see from verses 4 to 9 is an example of how we should not do things without the help of God. Verses 5 and 6 make that last point pretty clear. For context, it's talking about how the kings were ready to go into battle against the people that were trying to destroy Mount Zion. So I believe let me look up who was trying to destroy. So from my sources, this psalm is talking about a situation in Second Chronicles verses 20 when a man named Jehoshaphat was like the ruler at the time, and there was nations trying to attack Jerusalem. So back to my point that I was making earlier, this is talking about, because in verse 4 it says, look, the kings assembled, they advanced together. So that's them like going after the people that was going after them. And then in verse 5 and 6, it says, they looked and froze with fear. They fled in terror. Trembling seized them there, agony like that of a woman in labor. To compare the agony that they felt to a woman in labor, it says a lot in itself. So I feel like all that happened to them because they didn't establish God um, before they went out. But I was like looking into that Second Chronicles chapter a little bit, and then later on they hear what God has to say. And even in later in this chapter, in like verse 8 and 9, it talks about God will establish it forever. So let me see. It says, just as we heard, so we have seen in the city of the Lord of armies, in the city of our God, God will establish it forever. So I feel like that is the start of when God is making himself known and like present in that area. And then to end the chapter, verses 10 to 14, I wrote that God is showing that he is God by protecting all his people from the harm that was coming and left the city intact, leaving it as a discussion point for future generations. So these people are truly in awe. And in the last two verses, it says, note its ramparts, tour its citadels, so that you can tell a future generation, this God, our God forever and ever, he will always lead us. It's like a happy ending to something that you thought would be a nightmare. Like, I'm sure these people really believed that they were done for, their city was done for, Mount Zion was going to be done, Jerusalem out of there. But God really came in and was like, yeah, no, not on my watch. So yeah, my last and final point, just make sure you guys are letting the Lord into every situation that you're in because you never know. His protection goes a long way. So just include God with everything that you do. But that is all I have for you guys. And I will see you guys tomorrow for chapter 49. I love y'all. God loves y'all more. Have a great night.